we started the pod, honestly, just to promote a clothing brand that we had started. It was just kind of like a way to kind of start a new marketing tactic. And we fell in love with it right away. We were like, forget the brand. This is the new route because it was just way more fun.
I'm Botter.
I'm Blythe, and we're the co-founders of the Jax Podcasters United.
And this here's another episode of our local podcaster spotlight series hosted by JPU community members Phil and Eric.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the JPU Podathon. I am Phil Smith, and I am here with our two guests. And guys, let us know what your name is as well as the name of your show.
Nick.
And I'm Joey, and we have OG Sessions Podcast.
Yeah, the OG Sessions Podcast, baby.
There you go. Thanks so much for being here with us this evening and also donating to a great cause, which is always fantastic. Tell us a little bit about your show. How long have you been doing it, and what's it about?
We've been doing about 2 years. We interview artists, entrepreneurs, and athletes. We shoot the shit. We got segments that we do, you know what I mean? And go on the road as well. We film vlogs and go and interview guests in other cities, kind of spend a day with them and show them just a little bit of like, you know, what goes on in their life and just kind of highlight the guests a little bit more. Mm-hmm. And we've done 78 episodes now.
Okay. Creeping up on 100. All right.
Yeah, dude, we're getting there. We got crazy plans for episode 100 too.
There you go.
So hopefully get all the guests back in the same room and just, you know,
all 78 of them.
Right. Yeah. Honestly, yeah. Like we want to do something crazy for everybody. So I think it'll be a really good thing. And you know, we interact with our Patreon members a lot. So, you know, we try to just kind of.
And I wanted to throw in that they're all unscripted. So none of it, we do our research obviously on the guests.
Sure.
And then we have those talking points, but we don't write down a script. We don't have a thing that we're trying to hit each time. So it kind of builds like a natural conversation.
Yeah. I think that's always like, that's always a conversation I would prefer to listen to as well. When it comes off natural, when it seems like people really know each other, that always, you know, presents itself to just a good conversation.
I mean, we just want to treat it like we don't want it to be an interview style. You know what I mean? We don't want guests to come over and feel like they're being interviewed. We don't want our audience to feel like we're just kind of having someone over and like asking them a script full of questions or whatever. We just honestly want it to feel like we're just one of the guest friends and they're just coming over for a beer and we're just hanging out on the couch, you know what I mean? And just like that's a conversation that they'd be having with one of their boys or something. So, honestly, like our guests, it's funny because our guest range is pretty crazy. Like we've had, you know, some pretty big time rappers on there, but then we've also had, you know, country artists like Madison Hughes, you know, entrepreneurs. We've had doctors on there. We've had just a whole range.
Good variety.
Lawyers, Botter was on, you know what I mean? Just a whole bunch of different kinds of people. And honestly, there's really like no box as far as like guests go. You know, we'll really interview anyone with a cool story, anyone that, you know, seems like they'd be a good fit for our audience.
We like talking to people.
Yeah, that's great. So where did you guys, what led you to start OG Sessions? Like, what was the point where you're like, hey, you know, I think we can maybe expand this to a wider audience and bring it to more people?
Well, actually, it was Nick that started OG Sessions, and he had to beg me to even come on the show. It was funny, like, in season 1, he was begging me to even come on, and I was so nervous to just get on the mic. And at this point, there was no video. There's, like, it's just me talking to a mic. I'm talking to Nick in his room, you know?
Yeah.
And I was still so nervous. And then season 2 comes around. That's when he starts YouTube and all that. And then he's begging me to be the co-host. And I'm like, nah, dude, I really don't want to do it. And then I did it one time.
He's not
Loved
lying,
it.
bro. This is true. We started the pod, honestly, just to promote a clothing brand that we had started. It was just kind of like a way to kind of start a new marketing tactic, I guess. And we fell in love with it right away. It was like episode 3, we're like, dude, forget the brand. This is the new route because it was just way more fun. And honestly, he got on. I had to beg him to get on because he does a lot of cool things on the side. He actually blew up on TikTok for being a plant enthusiast. He was like the first person to have like a tiny house and a ton of different like house plants filling the entire house and stuff. And so I had to beg him to get on for like episode 8. And it was like before episode 50 was when we started doing video and we started at season 2. And then I had to beg him again to get on for episode like, I think it was like 30 or something. Just he didn't want to be, you know, it's kind of challenging at first, like to you know, someone that's never been on a microphone before to kind of get him to get that confidence and get on there and like really just kind of open up a little bit.
Yeah, it can take time.
Dude, I interviewed people to be co-hosts, or like people were interested in being co-hosts. I just wanted to find someone that had like that great like chemistry. You know what I mean? Like someone like this dude's been my best friend for like, shoot, I don't even know, like almost a decade now.
No.
And so, you know, it's like one of those things where it's like kind of just the perfect fit, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? And so finally when he was like, all right, you know, I'll give this thing a shot, it was really only like, I mean, maybe the first or second episode and things started clicking and he was like, I could tell he was not only falling in love with it, but he was also like really becoming a much better podcaster as well. And like learning how to just, you know, run the game a little bit, you know?
Finding your voice is a huge part of it, and that takes time. And I think that's a really great message that you just have to kind of learn a whole lot as you go, which I'll circle back around to here in just a moment. If somebody were to listen to your show for the first time, what is an episode that maybe you would point them to? Maybe some of your favorites as far as interviews. It sounds like you guys already got one in mind.
One of my favorite ones is with Broadway Louie. Broadway Louie. It was just the way, like, was episode 51. Broadway Louie. Mm-hmm. He's a filmmaker. He writes music. He does a lot of things. But just our chemistry, the way we talked, like, we were laughing the whole time. It was a great conversation.
Also, we had UFC fighter Trey Waters on there. Mm-hmm. That was my personal favorite. I think, first off, as a fighter, he is such a crazy individual and just like one of the coolest guys that I've ever spoken to. And I think it's cool how like a guy like a UFC fighter can come on the show and just be like super chill and super mellow. Like his energy was just like totally not what we were expecting. Mm-hmm. Ended up being like one of our longest conversations to date. Yeah, honestly, I think Trey Waters or Broadway Louie would definitely be a good one to check out.
And I did ask the UFC fighter if he thinks he can beat us up.
What are you saying? Well, no, hold on. Listen to the episode. Listen to the episode.
Yeah, listen to the episode. But the question was actually, could he beat me and Joey at the same time in the octagon?
That's a pretty fair fight. He's a professional fighter. Come on.
Dude, he's a tall dude too. So I was like, that's a great question. And that's what I'm talking about. He's getting his feet under him. You know what I'm saying? He's asking them difficult questions.
Yeah.
It was funny too because like
we need to know.
We have to know. Right?
And I painted the picture. I was like, okay, imagine this. We're in a UFC fight. All you hear is the fans, and then everything's dark, and then in the corner you got me and Nick. And then he was like,
"No preparation." I mean, there's a conversation
but it's
to be
funny.
had.
It's funny, yeah.
Well, again, thanks so much for being here and being a part of the JPU. As far as like these events, is this your first time? You guys have been coming to these for a while, right?
No, we've been coming for a while.
Yeah. What's one thing that you've taken away from the JPU? One of your favorite things about just being part of this community?
Oh, dude, just connecting with like other podcasters, just making friends. Like, I met so many people through this community. Like, I got my boy Connor with the Who Are You pod. I think y'all had him on here. Mm-hmm. He's super, super great individual. Y'all need to check out his podcast too for just inspiration and shit, because he's just one of those guys where I don't even know if I really met him through this event, but we connected a lot through this event. I've also, worked with a lot of other people that have came through. Like obviously Botter, we met through this event. And yeah, dude, I just love coming out here and just chilling with other podcasters. It's like not a lot of communities do stuff like this.
Right.
So, honestly, what about you, Joey?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Well, what have you taken for these events?
I'm sitting here.
What have you taken for these events?
Yes.
Honestly, the marketing. Just meeting all these people.
Yeah.
And marketing and seeing all the people from the other podcasts.
Yeah. Like we talked about just a moment ago in the other room, this is such a special thing that's not going on elsewhere. So the fact that we get to come here and meet a bunch of like-minded people is fantastic. Guys, again, thanks so much for supporting a good cause. It's great to see. Hope you have a happy holiday. Everybody, as we wind down, let everybody know where they can find your show and any social media you like to plug.
Oh, dude. You can find us on, obviously all listening platforms, SiriusXM, all that good stuff, man. It's just OG Sessions, YouTube OG Sessions. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, everything. OG Sessions Pod. Actually, TikTok is just OG Sessions. All the socials are going to be OG Sessions Pod. Patreon, OG Sessions. If you start typing in OG and then put an S there, it's probably going to pop up.
There you go.
Yeah. So just honestly search for us anywhere, man. Maybe website coming soon. Keep it simple for now, but
there you go.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for your time. It was awesome meeting you, and thanks so much for hanging out with us today
Thank you
at the
for having
JPU.
us.
it was a pleasure, man.
Thanks, guys.